Ghost Pepper, Erick Gonzalez, right? He's looking to make his way back. Two pretty rough losses. You get starched by Jim Miller, and then you get put it on by homeboy. Come on, bro. Why am I McKinney? Terrence McKinney. There we go. Terrence McKinney.
T-Rex.
And then, Trevor Peek comes in and he says, listen, man, I might have almost got completely starched in my contender series bout, but I came back and I had a will to win and I know how to knock motherfuckers out. The problem here is that Trevor Peek, I think that this is going to be a very formidable opponent for Erick Gonzalez, but arguably, this is a type of matchup he probably should have been getting coming into the UFC. Not the Jim Millers, not the most fights, most wins in the UFC, not Terrence McKinney, who starts everybody except, the Bonfim bros. But Trevor Peek, a dude who's wild, swings big, and likes to just rock you with every shot that he got. Erick Gonzalez can fall into that as well, but I think that he's a little more precise. He's a little more point A to point B versus point A to point B. You know what I'm saying? So realistically, man, on the feet, look at Trevor Peek. He's a minus 175 favorite, bro. People believe in the power. I believe in the power too. But do you think that Erick Gonzalez can outclass him for 3 rounds?
100%, Derek. I don't think Ghost Pepper's getting enough credit for this fight right here, and especially in a spot where he needs the win. I think he has a lot more fighting for it, whereas Peek, dude's a dog, and he has a chin, he has a heart that is willing to persevere and go through literally brick walls to get his dub. But I feel like Gonzalez is just a little bit more versed in the big lights, if you will, man. He has a lot more to fight for. He has a lot more time in that octagon against big names, dude. Like you said, man, coming in as your first fight against Jim Miller in the UFC, and then you go to T-Rex. Thankfully, somebody over here likes Erick Gonzalez because they finally threw him Trevor Peeks. But to that point, I don't necessarily think this is a smash spot, Derek. I think this is one where Peek has a lot of opportunity to make a big name off somebody who's kind of fallen in the lackluster limelight, if you will. Do you see it that way, or are we just a smash spot for Gonzalez all day right here?
Brother, smash spot? Trevor Peek has 7 fights. He's knocked everybody out. There's no, not smash spot. I'm more talking about here experience, right? Look at the biggest win on Trevor Peek's resume, right? And that's going to be Kama Worthy, former UFC fighter. Obviously, a little chinny, right? So he got kind of, relegated to the minors. But if you also look, first round knockout, second round stoppage, first round knockout, second round stoppage. That's the entire career. Erick Gonzalez, on the other hand, is a little more well-versed, a little more octagon time, right? Cage time. So I think that Erick Gonzalez, man, you got real legitimate experience in some pretty early fights, right? And I'm talking about the Terrence McKinney and Jim Miller, both of those first round and second round stoppages. But aside from that, he's got a lot of decisions under his belt, man. He's fought a lot of guys, and I just think that Erick Gonzalez is one of those guys who it's the what have you done for me lately? And lately, nothing. He hasn't lately. Right? Trevor Peek has done everything lately. But does that mean that Trevor Peek is automatically going to win this fight? No. I think if Erick Gonzalez can stay within himself and avoid the wild, looping, crazy shots of Trevor Peek, I think he can have a lot of success here, man. And I wonder if there's going to be any taking this to the ground, you know what I mean? And trying to really utilize the full range of mixed martial arts. But I like Erick Gonzalez here. I'm seeing him get no love online. When I'm really looking at it, man, I'm talking about, like, people are saying Trevor Peek with whatever he wants as well. Like, they're giving him all the love here. So let's talk about these props really quickly, man, and we'll kind of round this thing out. Erick Gonzalez's best prop is plus 275 TKO. You know what I mean? Trevor Peek, plus 110 for the TKO, but other factors of winning, submission doesn't look good, decision doesn't look good. So what does this tell you?
Man, Trevor Peek needs to win this fight in the first round. Yeah. And we saw it in his Dana White Contender Series. The longer the fight goes, the more this dude is just willing to load up and throw haymakers down the pipe. And with somebody who has as much experience as Erick Gonzalez does in the cage, he's going to see that. And I agree with you, Derek, or at least I agree with what you were going for. I think we're going to see Erick Gonzalez taking this to the ground, showing him up, showing multiple different styles of fights that's going to confuse the newcomer in the UFC and really drag him into those deep waters. Now, as far as the props, that plus 110 TKO, I think that number starts to grow more and more not in favor of Peek the longer the fight goes. Mm-hmm. If this is a round one fight and only round one, Trevor Peek all day long.
Yep.
Now, with that plus 275, I think Gonzalez is a little bit more likely to get the knockout
That's a good question, man. And I don't see that. I don't see it when you're looking for that. Oh, sorry, bro. I put the wrong camera. When you're looking for that victory, right? When you're looking for that elusive victory that you just haven't been able to get, especially in the big show, obviously you're going to take any opportunity of victory that you can, but I don't think you're going to get outside of your bread and butter. And his bread and butter is just be technical, man. You know, win the fight, do the right thing. If it takes it to the ground, be smart. Ground and pound, get the finish. Let's not do anything extra. So with that being said, man, I like me some Erick Gonzalez here, and I'm not going to make the same mistake that I made last time because if you look at both of our cards, it's pretty damn finish heavy. Give me a decision here for Erick Gonzalez because we saw just how durable Trevor Peek is, man. Like this dude, he has a real will to win. You know what I'm saying? So I like the decision for Gonzalez. How are you seeing it on for the Ghost Pepper?
Yeah, man, I'm going with Ghost Pepper. And full transparency, I was already thinking decision as well. I think that's where it's more likely going to be. I think Gonzalez will want to try to test himself a little bit and really see how he fares, especially with the youngin who hasn't had that kind of third round experience. But Derek, because I'm kind of hedging the bets a little bit here for the props anyway, I'm going Erick Gonzalez and I'm going TKO round 2.
Nice. No, nice. I can see it. I can see it later in the fight, man. You know what I mean? Something happening and he just has to get him out there. Or if he, opts to be able to get him out there. But it's going to be a fun fight. And round